Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into one single, absolutely pivotal moment from the book of Acts. We're talking about a super strange, totally shocking vision that completely redrew the map for a global faith. This is the incredible story of how God personally re-educated his lead messenger to kickstart a revolutionary new mission.
So how in the world did a strange vision, one with a giant sheet full of forbidden animals of all things, completely change the rules for the early church? Well, it's a story about a massive paradigm shift, and it all starts in a world that was literally divided in two.
Okay, so to really get why this vision was such a big deal, you have to understand the world it happened in. It was a world with this deep, seemingly uncrossable line drawn in the sand. On one side, you had the Jews, God's chosen people, with centuries of laws and traditions, and on the other side, well, you had the Gentiles. That's basically everyone else, who were considered outsiders, ritually unclean.
And this whole divide is perfectly summed up in our two main guys. First, we've got Peter, a devout Jewish apostle hanging out in Joppa, a man who absolutely lives by the book. Then, over in Caesarea, there's Cornelius, a high-ranking Roman centurion. He's a Gentile, a total outsider, but he's also described as God-fearing and incredibly generous. These two men are from completely different worlds, separated by what really felt like an impenetrable wall.
But here's the thing. A divine plan is already kicking into gear, and it's happening in two different places at the exact same time. And trust me, this is no coincidence. It's a meticulously orchestrated event designed to bring these two worlds crashing together.
So the first domino falls in Caesarea. An angel shows up to Cornelius while he's praying and gives him this very specific, very clear instruction: send for a guy named Peter over in Joppa. And what does Cornelius do? He doesn't hesitate for a second. He immediately calls two of his servants and a devout soldier and sends them on their way. His unquestioning obedience is the first critical piece of this divine puzzle. All right, now let's jump over to Joppa, because at that very same time, the second part of the plan is kicking off. Peter heads up to a rooftop to pray right around noon, and the text makes a point to tell us something very human, very relatable. He's hungry. And it's right there, in that state of prayer and hunger, that he falls into a trance.
And what happens next? Wow. It's not just some weird dream. This is a direct, divine counterargument to Peter's entire belief system. I mean, everything he thought he knew about God's rules is about to get flipped completely upside down.
So, what does he see? A giant sheet comes down from heaven, held by its four corners, and it's filled with every kind of animal you can imagine. Creepy crawlies, birds, four-footed beasts. The most important part, though, is that it's a mix of both clean and unclean animals. For a devout Jew like Peter, that mixture would have been deeply unsettling, maybe even a little repulsive.
And then, a voice from heaven just booms out this absolutely shocking command: "Get up, Peter, kill and eat." Now, this goes against every single thing Peter has been taught his entire life. It's a direct order to violate the sacred dietary laws.
And Peter's reaction is instant, and it is emphatic. "By no means, Lord." Now, he's not being rebellious here. His refusal actually comes from a place of deep, sincere faith. He's defined his whole life by keeping these laws. He's basically saying, "Lord, you know me. I've never done that."
But God doesn't let it go. This whole thing, the sheet coming down, the command to eat, Peter's refusal, it happens not once, not twice, but 3 times. That repetition is so deliberate. It's God hammering home just how important and authoritative this new message is. He is patiently, but very firmly, working to overcome Peter's sincere, but now outdated resistance.
And this all builds up to the main point, the one line that changes everything. After Peter's refusal, the voice from heaven delivers this revolutionary principle: what God has cleansed, you must not call common. This is the divine counterargument. God is basically saying, I'm redefining purity, and it's based on my declaration, not old ceremonies.
So as the vision ends, Peter is just left completely bewildered. Like, what on earth could that all mean? And it's right at that moment of total confusion that the two storylines we've been following are about to collide with this breathtaking, divine precision.
I mean, the timing here is just brilliant. Look at this. As Cornelius's men are literally approaching the city, Peter is having the vision. The very moment his head is spinning, trying to figure it out, there's a knock at the gate. It's them. There is no way this is a coincidence. Peter is still confused, of course, but the Holy Spirit just cuts right through all that noise with a clear, direct command. Go with them, and do not hesitate, for I have sent them. That phrase, do not hesitate, is so crucial. It connects the dots between the vision and the men at the door, giving Peter the final piece of the puzzle he needs.
And this is it. This is the big aha moment, where the true, deeper meaning of that bizarre vision of animals finally clicks into place. And Peter's transformation from confusion to clarity, well, it's shown not by what he says, but by what he does next.
It hits him. The vision. It was never really about the food. The animals were a metaphor for people. If God had just declared all foods clean, well, that meant the people who were previously considered unclean, the Gentiles, they were now declared clean too.
And Peter gets it. His very first act of obedience is to invite these Gentile men into his home to stay the night, which was a huge break from custom. His second step is super strategic. The next day, he gathers other Jewish believers from Joppa to go with him. He knows this is a revolutionary moment, and he needs eyewitnesses to back him up.
So this single encounter, which started with 2 different prayers in 2 different cities, all leads to this moment that redefines the mission of the church forever.
This right here, this was the paradigm shift. Peter's vision and his obedience to go to Cornelius' house officially blew the doors of the faith wide open. The Great Commission to make disciples of all nations was now breaking through its final barrier, moving beyond just the Jewish world to include every single person on earth.
So of course, this story has to make us ask ourselves, who are the Gentiles in our world today? Who are the people that maybe we unconsciously consider outside our circle or unclean? This vision challenges us to see them as people God has already declared clean and is actively reaching out to. You know, Peter's entire world was built on a set of rules he thought were permanent, but God showed him a much bigger, more inclusive plan. So it leaves us with this final thought. If God could redefine the rules for his lead apostle, what long-held rules, assumptions, or maybe even prejudices might he be asking you to rethink today?